Sincerely say, Miss Van here, watch out. I'm going to watch Cho. The fog covered his mouth and laughed softly. This place is my home. What do you have to watch out for? Let's pretend we're thieves. That's right. But now the eyes and ears of the clans are mixed. I will protect you. Probably the most embarrassing human scratching his head. Go outside and hold the door. Unconsciously stagnant bone writing. This guy doesn't seem so bad either. At least don't treat the person next to you badly. If not, why do those people take the initiative to celebrate the birth of God medicine? I suddenly remember thinking about the day before. Her face was suddenly red with fear. Her face fell into his lap last night. It's like giving him a gift. It's really embarrassing. Think about here. She quickly shook her head to calm herself down. Let's just whisper and get started. My eyes suddenly turned black, looking at the direction of the angel. Just for a moment, the star is full of sky turned into 4 iguanas. The angels of war devoured each other. The more the fog looked, the more terrified it was, on a face full of fear. She had been with him before. I think it's also in this form. The sky is everywhere the creatures complain. The next winner is also unknown. I can only say after this battle, the people mourn the tragic casualties. At last an oscillation echoed. The child immediately stopped. The star in the sky is also gone. To feel this, I'm most likely curious to run to the end. But he saw the fog, his eyes full of water. This shocked look on her face. Baby fog is so. Just watch the stars and cry. But the bone suddenly caught his hand. On the one hand, the housekeeper. Please, sir. You may not be in charge of my family. But please, sir, we must stop this disaster. Only you. To change the fate of the universe. To do the calculation of the universe. Get out of the misery of life. I'm most likely to see the scene. Take a look at her. I'll do my best, but... But what? I heard him respond to the fog, crying, smiling, looking at him. But most likely, they are very serious. I'm sure we've all been separated before. Now always put privacy first. You are my people. Her story will definitely help you solve it. About other things. It can only be convenient, don't force it. I can't understand why you're looking at him. Most likely, he laughed and refused to give his opinion. This is my style of behavior. You will understand later. Okay, now tell me what you see. Hear this word. The frost can react. Eyes in a twinkling of an unsightly drop. This time the dragon came here to deal with the lost family. What did you say? Unconsciously frown, most likely suspicious, or ask. The lost has just risen. I've never been to a dog before. Let's go back to the lost. It's like seeing the thoughts in your heart. The fog frowned and sighed. We're just looking at the air. The spirit of the fierce dragon. But it's effective at adding momentum. It's just that the other 3 houses are stronger. Only the lost are getting weaker. This time I encourage you to come here. The lost will be at the greatest disadvantage. Sao can be like that, ba other houses all increase sao. You to frown tight. Most people go back and forth thinking not to ask. It's not. Even the two hierarchical forces can be forgiven. This dragon has to deal with the dragon. Sao can oppress the head of the peanut. It's weird. The bones also nodded slightly. According to common sense, the first opponent of Velvet Cane, it should be the seventh emperor of heaven, the power of the long. But from the sky, it's basically not like that. I also have a little misunderstanding. Mysteries used to say, fate has a door of death and a door of life. It's just that people make different decisions. It's just stepping on different thresholds. If, as the fog says, look, the Kier family arranged something. Let Ta Long lead the way. But in the end, what's the reason for making roads? The road is national velvet candies, aimed at a small force like the Lost family. Most probably I can't think of. He looked at the fog. Probably most people ask, what will the fate of our family be later? Slowly shaking his head, the fog said with a sigh, I don't know if you are led by him. You are not under the control of God. So you can see the scale now. And in the future can't be seen. Sighed and hugged his head, most surely fell into contemplation. It's called knowing who knows me. Maybe 100 wins. But fate is unknown. I don't know what to do to adjust the layout. Look outside. Heaven is not a good thing either. The most important thing now. It should be clear that the plan of the three kingdoms, excepted for 1/6. There may be such unusual astronomical phenomena. There's a big conspiracy in there. If you do not solve it immediately, you will be trapped. Just thought of this. In the strongest of hearts, it comes down. Turn your head and look at the clouds for a moment. Finally laughing and talking. Let's go home. Fortunately for you this time. Otherwise, we'll have a hard time detecting this weirdness. That has me. It's also because of family and suffering in the world alone. Laugh for an hour. Van Du and Track the butler left Vangia together. Returned to the house of the strangers. It's just that at the same time in a nearby high building, the two black shadows watched the two most likely to leave fall into a bout of depression. Demon surveillance team. He's never been so depressed. A cold, dark image. A disgruntled voice spoke so far away. Can't see. Doesn't sound like a damn good thing. All right, AI told them to keep an eye on it. If you get close enough, it will be easy for him to find you. The rest of the black people can hear it. Let's go, priest. Look what they're doing. Leave a clue. Bad for us. The road is a team of demons. He is also about to become human. I picked up the bottle behind people's backs. The black shadow couldn't help but speak up. But also heard Theo turn into black smoke. Go to the high priest's house. The most certain of the days. One side considers the transformation a meeting with allies. The devil photo team also has not discovered out. Just to make it a little weird. Every time I ask about the state of the city, they just look like they're hiding something. Very suspicious. Clearly, his previous guess was correct. There's a certain tendency for something to happen. Unfortunately, the current situation is messy. Danger is near. I don't have time to find out later. Put it aside for a moment. There is also the appearance of the dog. Such a phenomenon will appear. Become the fourth force to oppress Ra Sao. Think of this, he took out a jewel in his body. Throw it to the forest and run. You have to let the people go first. We must let the lost have overwhelming power. 3 months later outside the palace. A strong centaur with overwhelming energy, slowly moving inside. Surprisingly, this centaur team is all mascots. Every step that we take creates vibrations on the ground. This is the delegation of Haiyan Nung. I can't wait to get out here and see this noise. In an early morning, a young excited student run to Lastra, scream out loud. Most likely the world is talking to 2 billion hermits. When you see people coming, you have nothing to say. This person is no different. Princess Vin Nin is a woman dressed in Namtrang. Escape from the royal city. I don't know how free she is. 3 meals to get lost. In the beginning, the reason was to find a common female. Eventually, it turned into the most dangerous. You can bother me to death. I am most likely to deal with her. Indifferently shrugged coldly said the princess. What game do you want to play? I don't have time for you either. Go and find the old lady with you. Vic doesn't want to see me. Nin, forever angry cold, finally raised his head said. This is 100 years of hard work. The princess is kind. I just came to invite you to come and see it. They don't know the heart of good people. You want to have fun yourself. Most certainly the most contemptuous Nine Lips refused to comment. Turn people away. He must have shouted an angry scream. Stop him urgently. The big dog is about to enter the city. This is the kind of love that's hard to come by. If you ignore it, you will regret it. Just heard here. Probably the most amazing stop. Velvet is here, Sao. Thinking about it doesn't wait. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared in front of everyone. Eyes waiting for me. When he saw this scene, he immediately shouted. Often glance at the sea of stray. Said with a small nod, let's go too. And the words of the people who follow the most closely. One way, running to the bustling streets of the royal city. On the way, most probably the world is still thinking. It really comes, and I want to see it. How big is this new power? Finally, how it's going to be a threat to the homeless. The foremost beautiful people walking on the street. I want to see some excitement. Right now. There's a loud shout coming from you. Most likely, raise your head and look up. I saw Long Onion standing on the radio, waving a smile at him. Next door, there are also heavenly beings with other kinds of disciples. Slightly nodding, the best of 3 people. Go inside for a long time. The old man saw it and led him to a place. You can see the whole picture below. On one side laughing. Brother Trow, today, the entire floor is donated by the family. Just to take a good look at this velvet puppy. Thank God for the cold face. Hold the sword in your hand. I just don't know how many masters are inside. Most likely, they glanced at each other. Shaking his head, laughing miserably. The fighter, of course. Right now. Most likely, he glanced to the side. Again see the stern dodging. Grudgingly exclaimed sternly. If you come to see me, don't call me. He was about to go downstairs and was called back. The most likely is a nervous laugh. The butler just happened to pass by. I didn't even wait for him to finish. A graceful voice. Into everyone's ears. Serious outfit. The master came and quickly prepared their seats. Snow knitting. Carrying HOA bars. Long master same form, long master go to. I see the worst here. My face flushed in surprise. Track fan. Long March van access opportunity to report. Laughing for an hour. You really don't hide it. They've known each other for a long time. It's just that you're busy and you don't know. What this word just came out. Probably the most amazing. Look at the two serious people. The old owner's form has also appeared. Towards him, proud to speak. What is certain? You don't need my house. I want to tie it down for the rest of my life. That's too bad. Ha, good job. But under everyone's astonished eyes. Most likely, he clapped his shoulders and laughed. I can't stop breathing a sigh of relief. Finally get rid of this burden and be happy to die. The word just ended. The owner was angry again. Now you probably mean what? Are you against my house? A little bit of attachment, no sow. It's too pointless. Most likely, ignore her. I didn't pay any attention to this step. The noise is dead. The owner of the house saw this scene. Reluctant doctor goes next to long-form owner. They say people mean to you. Refuse to let go. You scold people for not being mean to Dandan. Regardless of the comparison. You also scold. What do you want people to do? It doesn't matter how long I stay for a while. I don't know how to say it. Turn your head and look seriously. Tell them to come here seriously. He glanced at the most certain eyes a little. I want your opinion. I am in a hurry to urge you. Go to your future mother-in-law. You shut up. The angry old master roared a cruel voice. Glared at Y. Most likely indifferent shrugs refused to give comments. Go to land can observe the situation below. Suddenly at this moment there's a commotion. Each of the wild animals comes tirelessly. In the city. I can't help but see this scene. Here we go. Look, it's a beast. They're all 5th grade animals. They're cattle. Probably the most. Scan your eyes and look down at the 5 animals below. Smiling mouth stuffing. We are finally here, the evil dragon. Except for 117 teams 5 below, the leader of 5 men 1 woman. Body sitting on the 5th level beast. Majestic and fierce. Great potential gas. You can't help but get out. The girl is even more beautiful. It is different from the Queen of Heaven. She radiates the seductive evil spirit. It's like a kind of infatuation that interests men. Onion swallows a sip of saliva. Nodding comment. I can't believe there are such beautiful women. God also stepped forward. But other long onions van to eyes full of strategy. I heard the famous velvet cane, based on conquering the beast. I really want to open my eyes a little bit. How strong is their unified beast-man power? Long March can hear. Hurry up and stop him from giving this advice. This is an exchange. The two countries can't cause trouble. Especially cannot hand out with American women kier ha. Observe carefully for a moment. Probably the most difficult to understand. In this fifth team, there's only 3 scenarios. BA divine projection scene. 1,000 horses are the scene. Plus 1,000 BA level monsters and 6 5th level monsters. It's only team 5 like that. That can really intimidate Rossau. You must be looking at something. The princess looked back at him. Take a deep breath. The spirit stops. I don't understand why I'm interested. Sen strange thing. The eyelids trembled the most, and the tenderness spoke. Hear this word. It is even more suspicious or strange. There's a strange place. If you say it's weird, it's not easy to see. If we knew there was something strange, there's no need to look. Stupid doctor rolls one eye. The worst of the world spoke softly. Always listening to hear. His face suddenly red with aggressive response shouted Traquan. The worst of all, no matter how indifferent she is. Scan your eyes looking down. At this moment a loud, angry voice echoed through the sky. The Numcane Special Forces also stopped walking. Right now under a 5th level beast. There's a kid who doesn't know where to jump from. Lying in fear on the ground. Just a moment later. A white-haired old man. Hurry up and hold the baby. Towards everyone with their backs down. I'm sorry. Children don't understand. The old men will embrace it right here. Why not old man? The only female in the delegation laughed for an hour. Put on your hand. But she hasn't finished yet. The great Han sat on the back of the beast with his mouth shut. Don't want to let go. No human being can rule like that. Lao Tzu is the general of the National Dragon Boat. Ants like UVA into the general. It's disrespectful to Canis Velvet. If the two countries start a war, can you bear it? Hear this word. Probably the most contemptuous of the cold pout. Make color. If two countries are easy to say that. We've been fighting for a long time. This word just came out. The rest of the world nodded contemptuously. His words are only deceptive. Just as they think. The old man just finished listening. Both feet were softly kneeling. I pray for God's forgiveness. It's all the sins of the poor. Please don't make a big deal. Han Kier smiled contemptuously. The girl frowned again. He glanced furiously at him and scolded his father. Stop messing around. Don't worry, lady. It's just the underdogs of this universe. It's for entertainment. It won't affect the world. Obedience to where? He looked at the old man and said, if you want Lao Tzu to not cause trouble to the sky, you can. That's it, Master Lao Tzu. But Lao Tzu's horse has a strange personality. This is what hit. It all has to be swallowed. If not, will be upset indirectly affect Lao Tzu's mood? You tell me how to be good. Just set out. The old man was unafraid. This is his word. I want to bring the Kier baby to the sow animal. This makes it easy to get down. Because the woman can't seem to hold back her anger. If you can get over it, get over it. Don't be excessive. The lady is just playing. It's nothing to worry about. Han Kier refused to give the idea of laughing, staring at the old man the same way, waiting for the Kier to bring the baby to the mouth of the beast. The fangs of the young beast clawing in the eyes of the head is murder. The child saw this scene and cried out. Goddess grace above can no longer be. The two angry eyes of the long sword wanted to pull out of its shell. That makes sense. And yet run to the domain of the universe we are overbearing. I really don't see it. But the old man hurried to stop him. I advise you. They were invited to come. Even the court didn't show up. Why do we have to go through more trouble? The road is the downtrodden family, but also afraid of annoying procession sow. Hear this word. I can't help but laugh angrily. Normal, I didn't find the procession any less troublesome. Why don't you dare take it today? The cowardly devil must have educated them. If you want to go, I will go. The worst of all, slowly put on his hand and refused to give an opinion. You said it too. This kind of thing is normal. The 7 royal families did little. Managed sow. Don Pepper. Before that, you didn't rape the sow. At that time, I was angry. Why did I bring this up? Little Don Dan's face was red in shame, and he bowed his head in a whisper. Probably only. I just don't want to explain it to her. And then he looked up at the grave and said, there is also seriousness. You're not a good thing either. Very serious, on the contrary, very casually nodding. I used to go out with my teacher. But not after getting lost. Most likely, snapping, laughing, looking towards Vin Nin speaking. Seeing the princesses. We are all bad people from the bottom of our bones. You tell the bad guys, we're in charge of a bunch of bad people. Is it too much thinking? The princess unconsciously stagnated. He was so angry that his face was red. You're not going. At this moment, a woman's voice suddenly cracked. You are the devil's guest. But the guest is the guest. Do you have a guest management system? People turned their heads and looked back. I only see the fog. I don't know when I got to this place. I can see the faces of the 2 grandkids. I glared at the dogs. When I saw this scene, I was scared. Baby, do we have to go save her? Keep your eyes on Kier. The strongest face has a little bit of weight. Please die. A chick tied up sewn tight as she runs to Ra. What is it? With a little practice vie her weakest scenario. That's enough of a bunch of 5th grade beasts to stomp their bodies. Learn to defend others' rights. Other people's affairs may not be managed. But right now he is the official. Can't be left behind. sighing away unconsciously. I can also take this opportunity. Check out the power of the Rasa velvet cane. The priest looked at the head. A little bullying is not there. Standing in front of contempt. It's cold to pee. You want to die. To the whole Kayan Nung delegation. We also dare to manage. Emperor, you don't teach them how to treat guests. If you knew you were a guest, then you should be the guest. No one in this world has such a hindered guest. The fog without fear spoke coldly. The Khan was aggressive. She spoke with a grim smile. Ha ha. Whether the guests are comfortable. We also have to see if the owner is capable. Lao Tzu will marry these two grandchildren today. To make a hearty meal for my riding. No one can save us. 418. His word just ended. The beast immediately screamed at the two grandchildren. Du saw this scene. Rush hit out a Chuang stop hand. However, the Khan despised the nine lips. Body air so, suddenly released. A Chuang of Van Du hit the invisible wall. Quickly beaten out to the theater on the ground. The Greek Khan frantically mocked. In eyes filled with contempt spoke ha ha ha. A small house in the sky. I also dare to manage the trivia here. I really don't know who gave you that kind of courage. So, the word of the beast again opens its wicked mouth. I run towards my two grandsons. The woman can no longer shout out loud. Stop messing around, stop. Do in the heart of urgency. I saw that my two sons were about to be devoured by the beast. Inside like a burning fire, filled with tears crying no. But it's too late. It was as if he had fallen into a frenzied tyranny. Mascot too.